Okay, greetings everyone. My name is Neo and I'm here to give some new info. Here with a new relationship lecture, and with this one is based off the movie Hello, My Name Is Doris. The movie title is Hello, My Name Is Doris. It's the one with Sally Field, and let's see here. We have the description of it, and this is a disclaimer alert, a spoiler alert. If you have not seen the movie Hello, My Name Is Doris, please go ahead and stop this audio right now, and go watch the movie, and then find another time to come and listen to this relationship lecture. And also, what I do for those who are new. What I do in these relationship lectures is I usually take a movie of any sort, and I utilize that movie as relationship source material, and I break down and I analyze all of the relationship aspects of the movie, the overall relationship aspect of the movie, and I point out the do's and don'ts of relationships. And then I write them all down and figure out what I want to say into a lecture. And then I go ahead and record the lecture, and I put it on my YouTube channel so that you guys can utilize my relationship insights that I have gained from my years of studying, observing, and examining human relationships. Because my studying has been since, I say, around 2006 maybe. Yep, my studying around 2006, since my last, after one of my relationship breakups with a female that I was dating at the time. And then at the end of that breakup was when I realized that I needed to learn more about relationships, just as the average person needs to learn more about the relationships. And I've learned that it's a science to relationships. It's a science to everything. However, there's also a science to relationships, that it's a formula to every situation, and overall relationships has to be learned. A person has to study relationships. It's not just something that you just jump into it. And then the average person has been taught throughout the media how to exist within relationships. The media, their parents, and schoolmates, and very few people did what I did and actually studied and examined and analyzed relationships on their own. Because the schools, sure enough, don't teach it. They don't teach it. So it's one of the things that is personal study, personal education. Education is highly important. So for me, I went on years of reading various books. Like, the first book that got me started was Straight Talk for Men About Marriage by Martin Friedman. That one is a highly good one for men and women, and if about relationships in general. That's the first thing that got me started. Then I had another book. What's the other book? I think it's called The 5 Hidden Secrets About. Is it about relationships? I forgot what was the other book. Shoot, I was supposed to put that in the dictionary too. It was 5 Hidden Secrets about something. Let me see if I can find it. I don't know what it is though, but for some reason it's that title has been a difficult time for me to remember it. I don't know what it is. It's not even that difficult of a book, but I'll do my best to remember to put it in the description. Okay, remember to put it in the description. It's something to do with, I think, 5 hidden secrets to relationships, or to communication, something like that. So I gotta find out a time in a way to remember it and also put it in the description. So remind me if I don't have it in the description already. So with that, I have the books that I've been through, the Psychology Today magazines to help me think about different aspects of relationships, and me actually having my own conversations and observation and analysis of a variety of relationships and couples too, like speaking with people, and not only couples but also friends, and sitting down and thinking about the different things that people say to each other that makes them go crazy. Observe the movements, the actions that people take within their relationships. And so it's like it's a lot of reading and a lot of sitting and thinking and observing by myself for years. I mean, this is stuff that schools don't teach, but this is years of studying, observing, and analyzing. So it's like if something doesn't get taught in school, you gotta do your personal education. And the only sad thing is that because you can't say that you got a degree in something like this in human relationship anatomist, which it's something that title is what I came what I came up with myself. But you can't really say that you got a degree in it, but unless you want to say you got a personal degree or something like that. But other than that, long as I feel like long as I have the real solid information, the solid facts that people can really utilize in their life, that's really what's most important. Yeah, that's really most important. But I just wanted to make sure that I let you guys know that where I get my information from. And a lot of the new information that's coming through is from me meditating. I spend a lot of time by myself in quietness, and a lot of time by myself just sitting back, just observing people in public. Anywhere you can go in public to learn about people, that's a great place to just sit and just observe people, and then observe what thoughts come to your mind, because those thoughts are sometimes intuition. And if you know how to utilize your intuition, which I do, and that's where a lot of my information came from, is intuition, observing people, like sitting at malls, restaurants. Let's see where else. Stores when I'm waiting for certain people in the parking lot. There's a lot of places to get information about people from people by just observing them. So that's that. All right, I said I didn't want to talk too much because I wanted to make this to be a quick lecture and straight to the point. And here we go. Oh, and also I study a lot of movies and TV shows too, because like I said in my last lecture, the choice lecture, that these movies and TV shows are social engineering people to start behaving in certain ways. So as many people know, the movies and TV shows, they are based off of a real life. Whether you as an individual have seen situations and heard things identical to what you've seen and seen on TV and in the movies or not, those are based off of real life situations. So me, what I do is I study as many movies and TV shows as possible that have where I feel like it has a good amount of relationship information inside of it for me to study, observe, and analyze for myself, so that I can obtain even more relationship insight, so I know what else to do. And again, I also overall think for myself to figure it all out, practice my own discernment. So that's that. Okay, so the movie for the lecture is Hello, my name is Doris. The Sally Field movie. It's the one that included Sally Field, and she did a very, very good job in this movie. I really, it wasn't an amazing movie, but it was interesting. It was very interesting. I felt like this movie was more interesting than the movie The Choice. Definitely. All right, the description of the movie is a self-help seminar inspires a 60-something woman to romantically pursue her younger coworker. All right, so you got this older woman. Her mother died after her taking care of her mother for many years, and the lady Doris is the main character, and you have John is her co-worker that she has the hots for, and she really is in limbo with her life. She has her own job, which is very good for a 60-year-old, and I was surprised after I watched it for a second time, because I just watched it a few days ago for my second time after it first came out. Because I saw it when it first came out. I said, okay, this is gonna be a movie that I want to analyze. And then I watched it again a few days ago, and I realized that this is a 60-year-old woman, and she's working. You don't really see that often. Usually in their 60s, they're people are usually old and beat down in American society. That's what American society does. They want people by the time they're 60, they want them to be old and sick and easy to manipulate. That's the reason why they do certain things for many years. They program people throughout the media in various ways, so that by the time they're old and weak and easy to manipulate, believe it or not. So that's another thing that I observed throughout my studying of society and human relationships too. So she's working, and she got a pretty good job too, and her life is pretty much in limbo, because ever since she was with her boyfriend, and he left her because she didn't want to travel with him somewhere else. She just been taking care of her mother. Then her mother died, and then now she's just working as just a normal person. And then she got involved with this guy named John, who just came to her job as a newbie. He's a new person coming in, and she saw him on the elevator. And then ever since she saw him on the elevator, well, she first saw him outside, then she saw him on the elevator, and she just got the hots for him. Like this teenage female who has this teenage crush on this guy named John. And ever since then, she just had the hots for him. And she never, and the thing that I realized probably like a few days after watching the movie, is she never really sat down and thought about why she liked him, and if he's even worth her pursuit. And that's another thing that is conveyed a lot in these movies to social engineer people, is to just go for people for their outer appearance without thinking about, okay, what is this person's character, and how will their character traits actually contribute to a relationship. So these movies, they program people to just go for people for the hots. Just, oh, I got the hots for this person. Oh, I'm just gonna go with this person. Just go. And you know what I mean? It's just like going on pure emotion instead of then pure logic, emotion, and intuition. All a conglomerate of everything. Just a conglomerate of everything. I gotta slow down. Of everything. But this Doris, she just went all out like a little girl. And you can see she still is a little girl too, just like I said in The Choice, that the average person still has a lot of childlike tendencies that they haven't resolved, and haven't had control over throughout their life. They still have it in their mind, and it pops up and triggers at various moments within the person's life. And with this Doris, it pops up a variety of times due to this John guy, and ever since she saw him, she just been purely obsessed with him. She has no extra hobbies, and pretty much became her life. So let's get into the notes that I have here. Okay, so the first note that I have here is Doris is a little old woman stuck in her ways. Not good to be stuck in comfort zone. And I'll go into elaboration of this. A variety of people in general, but especially when they get up into adulthood, society has programmed, social engineered people to get stuck into their ways so that they won't be able to evolve. So the average person, they'll just grow up into a certain way of thinking, behavior and overall living, to the point that they don't observe any other way that's outside of their comfort zone, outside of that box. So when someone comes along or something comes along where it gives them new ways of thinking that is actually better than their comfort zone, and that's more productive for their comfort zone, for themselves overall, for their overall existence, they either can't perceive it, don't want to perceive it, and don't want to get involved with it. So they just stay stuck into their ways. And that's what this Doris is. She's stuck into her hoarding, and that hoarding is not productive to a person's overall health, especially psychologically. And when a person hoards, that's a psychological issue that needs to be resolved. So Doris, she was stuck into her ways, and if you're a person that's stuck into your ways, especially when you're up there in age, and especially considering if you want to start being around younger people, then you have to learn how to be comfortable outside of your comfort zone and learn how to evolve and do new things. Because young people don't want to be around stuck up old people that just can't evolve. However, she at least had a little bit more of ability to stretch outside of her comfort zone, because she wanted to be with John, if you think about it. But other than that, if she didn't want to be with John, I don't really know she really wanted to do extra new things, because she had that. He was her motivation. He was really her motivation. If you really think about it, he was her motivation. And another thing I thought about is, if he wanted to, he could evolve her to a whole new person, because she was so obsessed with him. So he could have been her motivation to do a variety of things. So he could have used that to his advantage if he really wanted to help evolve her productively, rather than take advantage of her, which a lot of men would have taken advantage of her in a variety of ways, and that's sad. All right, next. All right, a lot of women of various ages, similar and same as Doris. So what I wanted to say is, there are actually a lot of people, a lot of women who are just like or similar to Doris in her situation, where they're normal individuals, normal women, but then when they come across a younger man, or even a man in general that they really have the hots for, they act just like her, if not just like her, similar. I've seen it a variety of times, and there are older women who like younger men, and I've been in situations like that with myself as the younger guy. And I gotta say that it's another situation where the individual, as the older woman, has to learn the ins and outs, the science of getting with younger men, if they decide to do that. And a lot of older women, they don't do their studying and analyzing. So they just go with either what society has shown them, or they withdraw and they retreat and they go into their little shell, and then they might show a little bit of flirting, but other than that, they might just go on with their day and just hope that the younger guy initiates things. And that's definitely not the way to go if the older woman wants the younger guy. And that's the same thing vice versa. If the older man wants the younger woman, or if they even if they're of the same age, it's just like sitting. If you observe an individual that you like and you observe them first, it's not always a good thing to sit and wait around for the other individual to approach you. And this is what society social engineers women in particular to do for men, to just sit around and wait for men to approach them. And this is, if you really analyze this is not a wise thing to do for women to do, because a lot of women have lost uh, their men due to them lacking the courage to initiate first contact with an individual, with a male that they're interested in, and then another woman had more courage than her, so she made the initiation, and boom, she's off with him. So that's just your loss. So it's just really something to think about, in my opinion. Okay, so keep in mind, so with my notes, I jump around to different parts of the movies that I analyze, and I pick out the important aspects of the movie that I feel that's important for me to convey to people. So keep that in mind. The next that I have on my notes is making a fraudulent account. That's a big no-no. All right, so remember what I said in the choice lecture, and if you have not listened to that lecture or any of my previous lectures, I highly recommend that you go and check that out. Check those out before you continue with this one. Just stop this one and go listen to one or more of my previous ones, so that you can catch up and overall get a feel for how I run things, and also, of course, to get that those relationship insights. And in the meantime, now that I mentioned that, what I want you guys to do is, those who are listening to this right now, by the end of this lecture, please, I'm asking you to provide me some sort of feedback, letting me know and confirming to me that you guys are actually listening and learning this information, and that you are utilizing my lectures to the highest degree and you're learning from them. So please make sure that you comment, or even at least, if you don't want to comment on the videos here in the comment section, at least provide me some emails with your questions, concerns, feedback, anything like of that sort, based off of my lectures and information that I have been sharing. So keep me updated with that, and do that for me, please, so that I know to keep these lectures coming. All right, so making a fraudulent account that she did, for that little fake Facebook account, that was a big no-no. I say it's a big no-no because she's falsifying herself, and she's starting off on a wrong foot. It's like, if you really like a person, it's best to be honest with them from the beginning. And when I saw that for the first time, I was like, oh no. I was just shaking my head like, no, that's not the wise thing to do. And that's why listening to a 13-year-old about relationship information, that's a big no-no also, unless the 13-year-old is highly intelligent and has done his or her studying and analysis of relationships. Then that's different. Just like me, I've done my studying, observing, and analyzing of relationships, and you can see my results throughout my information that I provide, including with my blog, my Facebook group, and my ebook, my committed relationship ebook, so you can see, you can decide for yourself if I know what I'm talking about, and with these lectures also. So what she did was she created a fake Facebook account so that she can get into his friend circle, on his friends list, on John's friends list, and to just mask um that she likes him, and to gather information about him from his Facebook page, his fake Facebook page, whatever. It's not really Facebook, of course. Um, and to me, that definitely was a childlike action, a childlike behavior. And of course, it's childlike because she got it from the idea from a child. And she, again, as Doris, she did not stop and think for herself, like, wait a minute, hold on, let me think about that real quick. She just jumped on along with Vivian, the 13-year-old that she got the information with. So that shows right then and there that Doris does not think for herself often. She just jumps on a whim. Let's see here. So honesty, I say, and I recommend from the beginning. If you have the hots for a person, or you're really interested in a person, you start from the beginning with honesty. So if she was going to start a Facebook page, then start with your own face, your own pictures, and your own information, truthful information, and then go ahead and get into the person's Facebook friend circle that way. Or just do things the ordinary way and just meet the person and speak with them. That's what society, the controllers of society, has been doing. They have been gradually social engineering people away from the ordinary way of face-to-face communication, and it's getting very, very ridiculous. And that's what I have observed throughout my years, that a lot of people, they don't even know how to communicate face-to-face anymore. It's really ridiculous. And these movies are social engineering, have a part in social engineering also. Let's see here. Oh, yeah, I'll pass on that one. Oh, and I mentioned social engineering a lot. Let me go ahead and explain social engineering. What social engineering is it's the modification of behavior of groups of people or a person to do whatever it is that an individual or organization or group wants them to do. And the social engineering involves a variety of mind control. Overall, is mind control, because the subconscious mind is very powerful and very easy to program if an individual knows how to do it. And this is why I recommend that everyone learns and studies the conscious mind and the subconscious mind. And then once they do that, they'll realize that TV viewing is highly not a good thing to do. But a lot of people just had been programmed since they were in their early childhood that TV is just a normal thing to do, which it is in the American society and a lot of other places also. However, just because something is normal does not mean that it's wise and productive. Think about it. Just because something is considered normal does not mean that it is wise and a productive thing to do. So social engineering engineers people psychologically to behave in various behavioral patterns. So social engineering for relationships has been going on since the early 40s, probably 40s, yeah, since TV was created, and radio too. Radio also, because radio came before TV. So study that social engineering and study the subconscious mind and the conscious mind. That's another thing that I studied also. And like when I do this, when I studied started this human relationship analysis research, it led me to a variety of other fields also. And then I'm study when I sat down and I thought about it one day, that studying relationships only, that's just limited. That's limiting. There's a lot to relationships. There's biology. There's definitely psychology. There's let's see, what else is there. Well, those are really the top things. A lot of people don't consider what biology, how biology and even biochemicals within our brain and our bodies, how they change our way of thinking, has to do with our relationships also. There's so much more to relationships that most people aren't aware of. They're unconscious. And studying this, that's why I tell people, you got to find a way to study this for yourself. Study human relationships for yourself, so that you know how to behave within your own relationships. That's if you want to have relationships in general. But there's so much to it. Where was I? So that's social engineering. Yeah, changing the overall behavior of a person or group of people to whatever way you want to do it. And this can be done in a variety of ways. You can go get the book Social Engineering. There's a variety of social engineering books, but it was like a, I think it was a blue book with a skull on top on the cover that I read also. It was about social engineering people. It was a guy who studied it for years, social engineering. I forgot who was the author of it. So that's that. Another thing I want to convey is also, you have to be very wise with who you get relationship information from. What I mean by this is, very few people actually do close observation, examination, and analysis of human relationships. Very few do it, and very few people have the mental clarity to be able to decipher and perceive all of the higher important essential information, so that they can utilize it for themselves, and also be able to convey it to other people, so that they can teach it to other people. And also, very few people has also studied a variety of other fields that are conducive to human relationships. And I say this because there's a lot of people who have degrees as a marriage counselor or whatever, and then there's some people who don't have a degree at all, who didn't go to school at all, but they still haven't done the deep studying, going into it like hardcore, doing it. So when you see people on YouTube and scattered all over YouTube and all over Facebook, where they give all these good quotes and they sound like they know what they're talking about regarding relationships, you have to really examine and ask them, where do they get their information, and how much studying have they done, and what have they studied and analyzed? Because a lot of people, yes, they've been through relationship experiences, which that actually is good to learn from. However, have they actually sat down and done their analyzing of it? And also, are they still watching TV? Are they still connected to the social engineering that's going on? Because the TV, that includes cable TV, satellite TV, even that digital reception TV, all of that is mind control, getting people to perceive only a certain amount of perceptions regarding relationships. Once I observed this, and I disconnected myself from the societal programming, allowing myself to have independent thinking, allowing me to have mental clarity, then I was able to perceive things from the outside and looking in, and also being from the inside, from when I was under the social programming. So doing all the analyzing of this, I really see what's going on, and that's why you got to catch up with what I mean by this. You got to catch up with me on my Facebook page, my committed relationship Facebook page. Catch up with me on that. You'll see a lot of insights that most people aren't aware of, and you won't get a lot of this information from these marriage counselors and these so-called relationship gurus, or these people that you see all over YouTube and Facebook with these quotes, because a lot of people, they don't go in deep with this studying. So I want to put that disclaimer up too. Be very wise who you get your relationship information from. You got to really think about it before you take it from other people. So I had to get that across. Okay. I know I went on a little tangent right there. So so now I want to get back to the notes. The thing that I want to say also is, do you remember when John was sitting down with his co-workers at like a diner or a restaurant or something, and then he brought up, do you remember, he said something like, do you guys know who Doris is? And then everybody was sitting there talking about Doris and how she's like a dinosaur or something like that. She's old and weird. So he mentioned, so they all some way somehow mentioned that she was weird. And as I was watching it the second time, I thought to myself, wait a minute, weird is actually not a bad thing all of the time, because weird, in my opinion, means that people just don't understand something and or someone. So from their point of view, that makes that something or someone weird. Just think about throughout the years how many people in high school, in college, and in a variety of other places have been called weird just because other people fail to fully comprehend that individual. So it's not actually a bad thing, and also weird sometimes can be a good thing, because I've been called that a lot of times. And weird, in my opinion, means being different, being unique. So that's a great thing. All right. So my thing is, or what I have here next is doing recon as much as possible. All right, this was going towards Doris. Do you remember Doris? She was doing recon on John, and I wasn't meaning to rhyme. And she had Vivian as her young source, her intel source. And Vivian was a very useful tool to get information on John. However, Doris, she had John firsthand. Like, they worked together and they seen each other at least Monday through Friday. So it's like she had access to him to do recon, gathering her information about John before she actually moved forward to try to make any kind of passes, or what do you call it, further movements, actions toward him, to really get to know him, to go to a different level, to a friendship level, and then go higher. So I don't see, and this is what most people don't do. They fail to do their recon before they engage with their target. That's what I call it. Do recon. So if you watch those military movies and any those TV shows where they say, this is a recon mission. A recon mission means it's just straight gathering information gathering. There's no engagement, there's no fighting, there's no taking action. You just go get around your target and you just gather information. And this is what you're supposed to do before you decide to be friends, and before you decide to do, before you enter any kind of relationship with anybody. You got to get as much information as you can so that you can decide if this individual is someone you want to move forward with. And that's what I feel like the biggest thing is missing in people's minds is that process right there. And this is something that I had to learn on my own after me doing my studying of human relationships, and also watching military movies too. I was like, wait a minute, why don't I just take that process and put it to relationships? And boy, oh boy, this thing has helped me out a lot. I see the difference adding this process, because what it does is it helps you make better decisions, especially if you have like, if you're a person who have like 3 or 4 potential targets that you want to take out on a date, or who wants to take you out on a date. And just imagine, just think about, you have recon on all of them. You have a great amount of recon. You did have a great amount of recon on all of them. Good amount of intel. Then you can sit down and think about which one is the best out of all of them to go with based on what you want. So you got to keep in mind that you got to always sit down and think about your own criteria and what you are looking for in a relationship. Then that way, when you do receive the intel and the intel is right there in front of you, you can decide on where you want to go, what route you want to go. Get it? All right, if you have any questions, just go ahead and send me an email or do it in the comment section. Anything like that if you want further details. And that's what I feel, that Doris didn't really do much recon on John to really decide if he is the one for her. Again, like I said, society, humanity has been programmed to just go for the hottest person based on their appearance. And this is another situation right here. If you really think about it, ask yourself, what is the reason why Doris was so into John? Just stop and think about that right now. Like, what made her really go on her hot pursuit of John? Just really ask yourself that question, and then ask yourself, based on her life, where it was before John, and even during with John, like, where did she take it? Where was it productive for her at all, other than having fun? Like, where was it helping her grow to higher heights, to help her utilize her mind and become a better person? Just sit down and think about it. I feel like her and John, there really wasn't no what can I say? What's the word? There really wasn't a strong union, other than that young, youthful, silly, we're just having fun, acting stupid type youth connection. But other than that, it's just like, it was pretty much a useless relationship. Just think about it. This is an older female who really needs to be focused on what she wants to do in her life, because she's up there in age, and she still never really thought about what she wants to do with her life. But then she's sitting there fucking around with a younger male who's not doing anything positive for her, productive for her. So it's like, what's the purpose of this relationship? That goes again to show you that she's still a child. She hasn't grown up yet. And just like me, based on doing my studying, observation, and examination and analysis of human relationships, and looking at a large group of people, a large group of humanity, psychologically they're still children, physically they're adults. So they're just, I call them big little people. They look big, but psychologically they're still little people. So that's the average person. They think that they're grown just because they have a house, a vehicle, a bank account with money in it, their own clothing. They can make their own decisions. Society has made humanity think that this is adulthood. And they haven't, society hasn't shown people that adulthood starts with your mind first. You have to have a solid and stable mind, psychology, that is mature, so that you can make mature decisions. And maturity, there's a ton of small minor things, a conglomerate of small minor things that include maturity that's within your mind that you have to comprehend, and all of the things, minor things that you have to resolve, unresolved issues that you have to resolve from your childhood first to become adult. And most parents, they don't comprehend this, so that's why they can't pass on maturity, because they haven't matured themselves. So I'm like, this is fucked up. I'm like, this is crazy. One time I was sitting there and just meditating on it, like sitting down by myself and thinking it all out. I'm like, wow, this is crazy. And me going throughout my years, resolving my psychological issues from my childhood with my mother and my father. And one, I resolved my issue with my father just by meeting up with him. I'm telling you about myself. By meeting up with him, like I told you this in the past in my other lectures, that my father like officially left my life at the age of 16. I intuitively knew that he wasn't going to come back, and even before that he was in and out of my life, to the point where it really wasn't useful for him being in it at all. It really wouldn't make a difference, because what he did was he was the fun parent, the one that handle all of the fun parts, and his most responsibility that he chose to move forward with is give us money, and then he'll take us to go do things for fun, take us to the arcade, buy us pizza, and all of that, all of those fun things. He never really sat down and had one-on-one father time, productive, progressive father time with us. So that goes to say to me that just because you do have a father in your life, it doesn't mean that he's useful. So when I see two people, when I see a person, when they say that they had their parents in their life during their childhood, me doing my research, I know that that doesn't mean everything all of the time, because what matters is the quality of the parents' minds while the child was young, and if and also the quality of their maturity process that they put the child through, if they even did that, which most parents don't. So it's like every situation is different. So with my father, I didn't have that strong, solid father figure. So throughout my years, I just spent by myself figuring out what I need to do, going through my trials and errors, and learning from my mistakes, and sitting down, figuring things out for myself. I'm like, oh, okay, so I'm supposed to do this, this, and this. Going through that, and then when I got age 26, I believe, I just decided to just give him a call, and this was like, I haven't seen him in like years, like 10, maybe 15 years. And then just gave him a call. And for my birthday, I just wanted to just meet up with him, have a dinner, and just chat it up with him. And I had to make the call to him because I knew that he wasn't going to do it, because based on my analysis, and especially after this dinner, I realized that he is still a little boy psychologically. So we had the dinner. During the dinner, I can hear in his tone of voice that he definitely not this man that I knew knew he was. His vitality decreased throughout all of that stress that he was probably going through with that other female that he ran to after he left my mother. Well, in the middle, whatever situation that went through. So he just was like all over the place. And then with me analyzing what he told me, I'm like, wait a minute. So he didn't know what the fuck he was doing even when he got with my mother. So it's like, why should I be mad at this dude? Because he still doesn't know what he's doing as a father anyways. And then when I was talking to him about my life and what I was doing, I can see that he wanted to give me advice, but psychologically he didn't know how to do it, because there wasn't any information in his mind to be able to give it to me. So this is the type of information you can just know once you know how to read people, and your intuition is on high, very very high. All you got to do is just sometimes just look at people and you just know stuff. So it was like right then and there, after I got out of his truck and got into the car, got home. That's when I realized, like, okay, now it's time to just drop all animosity from him, about him, regarding him. Boom. I'm already evolving, so I don't need him in my life anymore. And that was the end of my um, unresolved issues with my father. So it's like, ever since then, I knew that I'm the adult and that I'm the one who's supposed to take control of my own life, my own behavior, and my own evolution. So boom, that was that. And then sat down with my mother and just really sitting down and really analyzing her. And I realized the same thing with her. She's still psychologically a child, and she hasn't grown up till this day psychologically. So I'm like, what the fuck, man? I'm like, all those years I was mad. I'm like, this is not useful to be angry at either of these my parents, because they both didn't know what they was doing before they had children. So I just dropped it and I just kept evolving and focusing on my self-development, and boom. It was really that easy. So you got to look at things from your parents' point of view, go all the way back and talk to them. Go read my article, my self-development article, where I wrote and I tell people the self-development process. I wrote that in the article, that you got to really sit down with your parents if possible and go back and have them talk about how they got together if possible, and then all the way to when they had you, and you'll see all of the shit that is fucked up if you sit down and analyze it, and you know how to analyze, and you sit down by yourself and think about it. You'll be shocked. So that's that. So I resolved my parental deficiencies. That's what I call them, parental deficiencies. Whenever your parents haven't done their strong parental responsibilities, they haven't taken care of them. There's parental deficiencies that the average person has, and they have to resolve those deficiencies so that they can exist successfully in relationships. Them as individuals can exist successfully within relationships with little to no issues within those relationships. So that's what I mean by Doris, and we got onto this because of me talking about Doris didn't grow up yet. So Doris had issues with her father, because you remember when she sat down with the psychologist, or she really wasn't a psychologist. Maybe she was, but anyways, that lady that was helping her with the hoarding situation. When she sat down with her, Doris was talking about her father, and she said one day, next time.